Ipindaon daun, bibili mo katan diga so ganito ka to tektagan.
Hello, this is Jimmy T with Eye on Holidays, and we're here with the amazing PIO for a while, California Highway Patrol Trooper Torey Michener. Welcome. Thanks for coming back.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So we're coming into the holiday season, and you said we need a little bit more vigilant this season. That's kind of there's a shift in demographics. Is that a nice way to say it?
Yeah. Just different people doing different things. Paying attention to what you can, attending to what you can, whether it be driving, whether it be at your home, taking care of things. How we address fires and take care of our fireplaces, keep those things clean, addressing your wood piles, how they're stacked. There are a plethora of things that people could be paying attention to that even myself, I'm at fault for not doing what I should at all times. So I'm really trying to pay attention this year. I've been a highway patrolman long enough. I've responded to enough, tragedies, things that could be prevented. And this year, I don't know if it's because I'm older and a little bit wiser, whatever it is, but I'm really trying to pay attention to just mitigating the risks that I can mitigate,
Yes. You cross an emotional threshold when you start getting older. Nowadays, I go up to the stop sign, stop, look both ways, watch. Wait for when the light turns green, you say, I'm not going, I'm waiting for those people to run it.
Right.
It's an emotional threshold that comes from you've seen too many wrecks. It's just not worth it anymore.
I've seen too many of them. And if those of you have seen me out, if you know what I drive, I'm driving Miss Daisy out there. I've been to enough. I've seen what can happen. I've seen how the human body does not hold up. When I was younger, dumber, actually fit. You think you can take on the world or it's not going to happen to me. You get a little bit older like I am, especially you start having kids, doing all these things, and you realize that the world is just one big risk,
Yes.
And we just need to do what we can.
Yeah. Do it while you're young and immortal. When you get our age.
Yeah, what's that old saying? Quick, hire a teenager while they still know everything.
Yes.
Yeah, one of those.
There are old pilots and there are bold pilots, but no old, bold pilots.
Right.
Just something about taking that risk.
Yeah.
And now about the other thing about fires is I've got this extension cord, and then I have an extension cord plugged into that, and I have like a power strip. So I think I'm drawing about 99 amps.
Yep.
When do you start worrying about too many amps on the
So
power?
you may not know this about me, Jamie, but I was actually a certified electrician. So amperage, your typical house has 20 amp outlets, 15 amp outlets. If they're more old school, most stuff is about 15 amps. All the devices that you're plugging in, every one of them is going to have a safety label on it, unless it's, from the 70s and is worn off, telling you exactly how many amps or watts that device is drawing. Again, I'm no longer certified. I've been in law enforcement now I've been with the Highway Patrol for 15 years and started my career in law enforcement about 20 years ago. The rule of thumb is if you have something, for example, that's 20 amps, as soon as you start closing in on about 15 amps worth of stuff plugged in there, you're just about exceeding that circuit. You're pushing it as much as can be. The old Christmas Vacation thing where he's got all the stuff plugged in and he's sparking. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. Make sure your cords are in good order. If you have an extension cord that's old and cracked, make sure you replace that thing. Water and stuff gets in there, Again, Christmas Vacation, your cat may decide that looks a little bit tasty. If that's not soft, pliable rubber, we have a burning tree.
And the other thing people don't realize is the longer the cord is,
Yep.
that amperage starts heating up as it gets to the end.
Yeah. Electricity actually, as it travels through the wires in your home or an extension cord or whatever else you have, that energy actually is creating heat. And particularly if you have a kinked cord or anything like that, heat is generated at all the points where any of those cords or wires are bent. Those are actually heat points where you can, if you had a digital thermometer and you pointed it at a straight section of your wire and then moved it to one where it had a kink in it, you're actually going to measure a noticeable difference in heat that's being generated. So yeah, just maintain your stuff. If the plug doesn't fit, don't push it. That annoying little third prong down at the bottom of there, that's actually serving a purpose. That's your ground. Don't break that off of there because you have the old 2-prong outlet. Look into getting an electrician over your place to actually replace the outlet, update those things.
And it's also one of those rare times where I say, if you see something, say something. If you look at the neighbor's beautiful Christmas tree and you see some sparkles that shouldn't be there, call. It's better safe than, gosh, I could have called the fire department.
The fire department, and we all know firefighters. They love getting those calls. There's nothing that gets them out of bed quicker. So they get excited over it. Make that call. Get the people coming. Who knows? You could save somebody's life or their home, or you don't know.
Yep. And it's also the same thing about, who are those people in my neighbor's front yard? I don't recognize them at all. They got that van that are loading the Christmas fire.
Yeah. Your neighbors are gone for the weekend, and they have long lost family members pulling everything out the front door. Yeah.
So we have a great thing. Bishop is a nice small town. It's wonderful. The trouble is we've got that 395 that runs through it, so we may have some unsavory elements. So kind of keep an eye open and drive a little safer.
We do. Again, it's that through that commuter traffic. Good folks that may not be familiar with the road, whatever it is, they're not used to driving in the snow. They're not used to seeing the stop sign or the crosswalk that doesn't have all the flashing lights and all that stuff. Just really, really look out for everything, Again, mitigating risk. If you do your part, then even if somebody else doesn't do theirs, you're probably going to be all right.
Yes.
Expect the unexpected.
Yeah. Yes. If you expect the worst, you'll never be disappointed.
Yeah.
But and I hate to put onus on the Flatlanders, but you see people go, "Wow, look at the mountains." That was a stop light you just ran through.
Yeah.
It's
a common thing. People are, this area is beautiful. Our valley, our mountains, everything that we have. People don't get to see all that all day. They see, just buildings when they look left and right. Even those of us that live here, we're always looking like, oh my gosh, look at the clouds, the sunset, whatever it is, the elk right off the side of the road. Everyone looks, we call it, rubbernecking, I think is the old term, looking at that stuff. It happens, and it can happen to the best of us. So just really pay attention.
Now you see a vehicle, it's got 5 feet of snow topping on, it's running down the road. And is that a traffic infraction?
So yeah, 2 things about that. Yes, it is. It's considered an unsecure load. So it is a violation of law. If you're traveling, you got that snow load on there, you're required by law to clear that off. Either that or figure out how to strap it down if you're going to try and make it all the way home with that snow. Okay? Because any debris, snow, hunks of ice, anything like that coming off your vehicle, it's a projectile. It can cause damage, injury, fatalities, you name it. The problem is as you're driving, that snow's melting a little bit. Well, what do we know about, water when it freezes? It comes down and crystalline when it's a snowflake, it melts a little bit. All of a sudden it's a sheet of ice. Well, when that sheet of ice comes flying off your car because you're doing 65 miles an hour, the speed limit, it goes flying off your car and through somebody's windshield. That's a bad day for everyone involved. So there's something that you can do about that, though.
What?
If you see it, you can call it in. We're more than happy to get those. We try to respond to every one of them. We respond to every call. Unless we're tied up on something that's going to take precedent over that, we respond to our calls. But B, you as the person being behind this vehicle, guess what? If you're out on the highway, doing 65 miles an hour and you're 15 feet off that bumper, well, you're violating the law too. Rule of thumb, 65 miles an hour, 300 feet behind the vehicle in front of you. That's an entire football field. Give yourself that distance. If something does come off the car in front of you, you need to be able to react to it. So you just got to be smart.
A gallon of ice is about 8.5 pounds. So if you have, let's see, 4 feet by 6 feet, that's like 100 pounds coming at you.
That's a lot. Yeah. That's like my right leg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need right turkey leg or right?
We're working on it. I'm trying to cut that stuff off of here.
Now, New Year's, are there going to be dial-a-ride programs for New Year's?
Yeah, you know what? I haven't talked with all of our local services, but this area in Inyo and Mono County have always been great about that. Yeah, we do have the dial-a-ride, the ESTA Eastern Sierra Transit. I know all the local bars and everything. They've had a program to get people to and from, which is outstanding. Dial a friend.
Dial a friend.
Dial a friend. You know, my
Yeah.
my kids aren't there yet, but when I was, you know, driving, my dad said, if you're going to be an idiot, I'd rather you be an alive idiot. Wake me up. I may yell at you, but I'd rather you do that than try to get yourself home. So if you have family, friends, trust me, nobody wants to make that phone call. But if you've had one too many, or you've done your thing, make that phone call. We all know somebody, you know, even if you don't ask a friend, they're going to know somebody.
But this is a good contract to make with your children and your friends. Just look, if you're going to go out, if you're not safe to drive, call me.
Yep.
I may complain. I may not be smiling, but you'll be alive.
Yep.
And we'll still be friends, still be relatives.
Absolutely.
So I go out on New Year's Eve, I get a DUI. Can you tell me some of the penalties that come from that?
Ooh. The numbers change often. But you're looking at up to a year in jail. For any misdemeanor, really, you're looking at up to a year in jail, and the fines range into the teens and 20s of thousands. So there are a bunch of mitigating circumstances and other things that make stuff, it compiles, and it compiles quickly. It's really not the best financial decision to be doing that. Even if everyone ends up fine, you know, you ran into your own mailbox, that's going to become a very expensive mailbox if you get caught by an officer. So, yeah, it's best to avoid that.
Some things are just not worth the risk.
Right. Well, there's after things too, you know, because we get asked this a lot, and I know plenty of people that have had the DUIs. Some of my personal friends, you know, people make stupid decisions. We all have. Hopefully that stupid decision hasn't been being behind the wheel while you've been drinking. But I can give you at least 10 things that my wife thinks that I was an idiot that I did, you know. I may agree with her, but I won't ever admit to it in public.
Is this not today? Or is it?
I probably did something wrong today. But there are a lot of after effects. It's not just the potential jail time, you know, the initial fees, you know, fines that you get through the court system or any of that stuff. I mean, your insurance, the insurance that, you know, that you're going to have to pay if you even get to retain your driver's license. You go into what's called I believe it's called like a COBRA insurance or something like that. Trust me, you're paying through the nose. It is not going to be, it's not pleasant. So, I know everyone nowadays, a lot of folks are tight with money. If you got the big family, you're really tight with money. If you're a young guy or gal that likes all the toys, trust me, you're tight with money. So yeah, it's a real burden.
So if you lose a license, that means you could possibly lose your job.
Yep.
And then certain jobs have security clearances or trust certificates.
Yep.
You can lose your trust certificate.
Absolutely.
Just like you say, it's a cascading effect.
Absolutely. Well, and then again, you know, younger folks and stuff like that too, they're not thinking about it. They're thinking, you know, they're having a good time. They're not sure what they're going to do later in life. You're 21 years old, you're at the bar doing whatever you're doing. Well, who knows, maybe at 25, 26, 27, 28 years old, you finally decided what you want to do. And if you have one of those things on your record, it may prevent you from getting, you know, achieving your life's goals or the dream that you've decided to have and the career you've chosen to pursue. All those things, they can and do follow you, you know.
Most of the job application forms say, have you been convicted of felony? Have you been convicted of DUI? It's like, so far I checked no.
Right. Yeah. Luckily, right?
Yes, it is luck and some good choice and some good friends that said, don't do that. That's stupid.
Yep.
Okay, fine.
Yep. And I'm sure you bailed a few friends out too. Picked them up, giving them those ride home. You know, again, it just falls back to looking out for each other. Occasional white Christmases, but as far as being able to get out there and enjoy stuff, you know, if your kid gets the RC car, it looks like they may be able to race it around the driveway, do whatever. I've been told that my kids are going to have a great Christmas. So, you know, that's
Like, I smell burning plastic. Is that your credit card?
yeah, that's a swipe. But no, I just looking forward to spending time with family and friends, you know.
This is a pet peeve, I admit it, but on Christmas Day, take another 5 or 10 miles an hour off your speed limit. Now, driving down that little road, you've driven that 100 times before, Joey, Janie, they got a new bike, they've got a new RC, they got something, and they will come out from behind the car.
New bicyclist, somebody that's new to skateboarding, somebody got that new set of rollerblades or roller skates or whatever they're doing. You know, you got these young ones, and I think we addressed this probably quite some time ago, but you know, your average traffic collision happens within 5 miles of home. And if you live in Bishop, Lone Pine, Big Pine, Independence, Mammoth, guess what? That 5 miles covers everything, you know? And it all boils down to complacency. We should put ourselves on autopilot driving those roads that we know so well. We may know the road very well, but, you know, just the other day I was coming down Line Street, and there's a bunch of deer standing in the middle of the road right there at Lyon and Barlow. What the heck? How often do you see that, you know? Yeah, it happens. So yeah, take that cruise, you know, reduce your speed, do your thing. Keep an eye out for the unexpected, the little ones getting excited, doing the things, you know. The dog got out of the backyard, whatever it may be.
Yeah, new kit, new puppy, running across the street, child's following it, slow down. Okay, now I have 2 things about New Year's.
Okay.
Don't shoot your guns into the air on New Year's. Does that happen around here very often?
It has, and it does. Yeah, that's not a good one. In particular, well, it's not a good one in a residential area, period, anywhere in any one of the counties. In the city, yeah, don't do that either. We've had that happen too. I've responded to stuff with Bishop Police Department, gunshots, you know, New Year's, midnight, all that stuff. Yeah, it's a bad idea all the way around. That what goes up must come down, right?
So on New Year's Day, when I go outside in my yard, there's all kinds of fissile material. When do I call the highway patrol or the police and say, I think there's a unexploded rocket in my front yard? Do you even worry about that?
Call every time.
Are commercial fireworks worryable?
Absolutely. Yeah. Call every time. You know, we'll respond. The fire department will respond. The sheriff's department will respond. Bishop Police Department. Every first responder agency will respond. Last thing you want is to think it's, you know, all right, or your kid's out there raking up leaves or whatever, comes across that sucker with the metal rake, little bit of a spark, and next thing you know, you know, your kid's missing a toe, or, you know, who knows what. Be safe with that stuff. Treat everything as if it's ready to go off, you know, if you don't know.
And chains. Tell me one thing.
Oh, yeah.
About chains.
Chains. Make sure you're carrying them. So it is the law. If you're going to be traveling, especially during the wintertime where chain control can be enacted, you don't want us turning you around after you've traveled 4 hours to get here to send you back to pick up some chains that may be out of stock or any of that stuff. Not only that, make sure you know how to put them on. Make sure you know how to put them on. For those of you out there that are, you know, fathers or mothers or a grandparent, or you just have a younger one that you're taking care of, those new ones that are driving, take that time when it's nice and dry out. Guess what? Teach the younger generation how to put them on. It's better to learn in a nice, dry, flat environment. Teach your kids how to do that stuff. It's going to keep them safe. You know, check your tire pressures. When the air is cold out, guess what? Air condenses. What may have been, you know, 40 PSI in the summertime turns winter, you're not at 40 PSI anymore. It's lower. You could be 35, 30, whatever it is. So you want to check your tire pressures, make sure that you're within manufacturer specifications on that. When you have your chains installed, speed limit, you know what the speed limit is when your chains are installed, Jimmy?
40.
This is your quiz.
35. 40.
So 25. Yep. You got it. So, and most of your manufacturers will have a stated speed on there, whatever device that is that it's rated to. But as well in the chain control areas, that speed limit's always going to be posted. When you come into that chain control area, they're going to tell you what the legal speed is to be driving. So make sure you stay within those speeds. Again, it costs money, but make sure your tires are in good shape. You know, if they're bald, it may be a fun ride to be doing out in the middle of the field or something like that. But you don't want to be doing it on the highway where everyone else is trying to get where they're going safely. You don't want to be that individual treating it like an ice rink and bumping into everybody along the way. So it's a bad day.
You were talking about how speed limits on certain people, they think it's guideline.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen anybody doing 25 in chains on 395 up by Mammoth.
Yeah. Yeah. And as highway patrol officers, we see it all the time. Just because your vehicle's 4-wheel drive doesn't mean that your vehicle, you know, your nice new Land Rover is capable of doing 90 miles an hour. It may be with the right driver behind the wheel, but I have yet to find that driver. We usually find those individuals, you know, 30 feet off the roadway with their car wadded up and, you know, people being sad, walking around in their PJs and slippers, wondering what the heck happened. It's not good.
But at least they have their emergency candle that you have to carry with you when it's cold.
Sure. Additionally, yes, your vehicle's 4-wheel drive. Do you know how to put it in 4-wheel drive? I've seen that a lot. My vehicle's 4-wheel drive. I'm good to go. And you'll tell them to go ahead and take off from that chain control area. Their vehicle's still in 2-wheel drive. They can't even get their car going from a stop.
Yep.
So make sure you know how your vehicle functions. Again, if you're an experienced driver and you have a new vehicle, make sure you know how that works. We used to go from the old lever where you knew you were putting it in 4-wheel drive. A lot of these vehicles nowadays, it's pushing a button, turning a knob, and you got to wait and you hope that it did its thing.
Yes.
Again, electronics. If you've been driving through the snow, that wire or that knob that you're turning, that button that you're pushing to engage the 4-wheel drive, if you've been plowing through snow, those wires go from your vehicle, wherever your button or knob is, down to your differential. If you've been driving through deep snow, or if something wasn't sealed properly and water gets in there, you can rip those wires loose, water gets in there. Not everything's fail-safe, so just make sure what you got is working and that you know how to use it. And particularly, again, I keep referring to it because we see it all the time. It's so common. You have the newer, younger driver that's on their first road trip with their friends to go skiing or whatever, and they just don't know how to do these things. They don't know how to put it in 4-wheel drive. They don't know how to put the chains on. Teach them now.
And well, if you have a brand new 4-wheel drive, or if you have one that you haven't put into 4-wheel drive, when you turn, it acts different.
Yep.
The front tires lead.
Yep.
So if we drive across asphalt, you'll be skipping, hopping.
Skipping. Yep.
Yeah. So go play with your car before you go on a serious road trip.
Absolutely.
But there's one thing that trumps everything. Do you know what that is?
No idea.
It's that clear ice that we get north of Mammoth.
Oh yeah, that black ice. Yeah.
Like it doesn't
Can't
care.
tell. Looks like it's good road.
It doesn't matter if you have chains. Doesn't matter if you have studs. Doesn't matter if you have $1 million vehicle or $50.
Yep.
You're going to be along for the ride.
Yes. Yep. Slow speeds. Again, slow speeds, maintaining that distance from the person in front of you. Just paying attention to all things. If you feel it starting to slip a little bit, guess what? That's not time to slam on your brakes or to hit the accelerator. That's time, we refer to it as feathering. Everything you do, you want it to be soft and gentle, easy on the gas, easy on the brakes. Give yourself that space cushion. If you start slipping because traffic's coming to a stop in front of you, if you've given yourself that nice space cushion, you're going to be able to safely bring yourself to a stop before the bad things happen. Before the boo-boos and you're replacing somebody's bumper and, somebody's getting mad at you. We don't want that.
And when you're driving along the highway and you see the little snow drift, and there's a little bit of black on the highway,
That's ice.
it's ice.
That's ice.
That's ice.
Yeah, that's not clear roadway. That's ice. Now we've got some of the best in this area. We have some of the best Caltrans crews I've ever seen.
Yeah.
They truly do a great job. They're on top of it from the time that before the storms even get here. They're on top of this stuff working. But guess what? You're never going to beat Mother Nature. Again, these are some of the best crews I've ever seen in Yamamoto County. Caltrans, give them a thanks. If you guys are around, you see them, somebody works there. Truly, I've had Caltrans working on the job. They're up there. They're bailing people out. They're doing things. They're keeping those roads clear. We have some of the best maintenance and snow removal you're going to find. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's on you. They could do the best, better than anyone else. If you're being a knucklehead, they could catch up to you.
And I'm an old man. It's one of those things. I wave at the guys with the snowplows because I know they're making the road so I can drive on them.
Yeah.
I also wave at these guys too, but don't give me a ticket. Don't give me a ticket. She's speeding, right?
Right. That brings up, hold on. We're going to have to go back because back to Caltrans. Those folks are out there working in those conditions. They're pulling the night shift, doing the things, cup of coffee in there. Give them their space. I can't tell you how many Caltrans vehicles, pieces of heavy equipment, the plow trucks, the trucks that are distributing the gravel or the saline solution, the sand with the saline solution. People will be right on their bumper. Yeah, they're a big vehicle and, they're clearing that path for you. But if they've got to stop or maneuver for any reason, they're lifting the plow, making the adjustments. If you're 5 feet off of their bumper, they're big and heavy and they've got their chains on. They're doing everything they're supposed to do. They're going to stop before you Trust me. And if the road is at all icy or whatever behind them, you're going to be meeting the rear end of that bumper, and those trucks are not forgiving. You know, I've seen several brand new vehicles wadded up into the back of a Caltrans.
Today's physics lesson.
Yeah.
All things small yield to all things large.
Yes. 100%. Yeah, they're built out of real steel.
Real,
Trust me.
yeah.
Yep.
Heavy metal.
Yep. Absolutely.
And Chris and Dreesen and District 9, those are, like you said, they're just amazing guys. They're so on top of it.
Yeah, they're the best. And we rarely, it's rare that I see or hear about one of them getting injured from that. It's always somebody on the road that they're trying to keep safe that ends up plowing into them, you know. I've seen it a lot, way more often than I should be seeing it. But think about them too. I mean, you're out there trying to get there to enjoy your Christmas or your holiday or go ski or do whatever it is you're doing. They want to be able to do those same things, but they're working through the night and through the day in these rough conditions, trying to make sure that you can. So, you know, give them the respect that they're due, look out for them. And, yeah.
The sign man used to be one of the top 5 most dangerous jobs in the United States.
Yep.
Because it's the guy with a sign saying, hey, slow down. So if you,
it wouldn't surprise me if it's still not one of the top ones. You know, when I was a kid, we were actually on a school trip going to play sports, and we had to stop. The bus had to stop for traffic construction. You know, they were doing some construction on the road ahead of us, and somebody decided they didn't want to wait, yanked it onto the right shoulder, went ripping by all the vehicles that were stopped, and ended up hitting one of the Caltrans workers that was working the sign, bringing traffic to a stop, and they hit him right next to our school bus. So I witnessed the whole thing. I also witnessed about 20, 30 miles down the road, that vehicle stopped, and the guy getting put in cuffs by a California Highway Patrolman. So
I knew there was a happy.
Yep, there was that one. But yeah, watch out for him. Watch out for him.
Now, as a civilian, is there anything I can do to help the highway patrol or the sheriff's office or the police department this time of year?
Yeah, actually. And particularly with chain control, sometimes we have to close the roads down for a period of time to let Caltrans catch up on what they need to do. If we're doing chain control or we're stopping traffic, we're stopping it for a reason. Trust me, we're going to get the road open as fast as we can. For a million reasons. A, for commerce. B, we want you to be able to enjoy your time and get to where you need to be. C, I'll say it sucks for us standing out there when it's sub-zero temperatures. We're getting wet and soaked, and we're stopping traffic and doing all that stuff. And, you know, people are always wondering what's going on, and we're always happy to give them the information that we can. But, you know, we're not weathermen either. I don't know when it's going to stop snowing. Every time if I'm in a little bit of shelter trying to get warmed up a little bit, every individual that comes up to us, that walks up to us in the closure, hey, when's it going to open? You know, we're getting back out there, and I'm not complaining because we're taken care of, right? And we're going to serve the public to the best of our abilities at all times. But man, it gets cold after your 100th time, you know, getting out there telling people that you don't know when the road's going to get open back up, you know, stay warm in your car. And don't jockey for position. You know, when we do that and we stop those roads, you know, everyone wants to be the first one there, but you'll get there much faster if everyone just kind of stays in line and does what they need to be doing. When you have the people jockeying for position, we have a little bit of accidents. You know, just that stuff. What do they call it? Old school or old fashioned common courtesy.
Uncommon courtesy, yes.
Uncommon courtesy. But do that thing, you know.
And there's also some really good apps by the California Department of Transportation.
Yep.
Where you can see, oh, look, there's some incidents up ahead on the road.
100%. Yeah. What is it? Roads.ca.gov. That's great. They're really on top of letting you know when the road's closed, when it's open. You can look. You can watch it in real time.
Yes, and it's kind of cool because, okay, there's traffic up ahead. Fine, okay.
Yep.
I'll plan my bathroom break a little bit better.
Yep. Yeah. If you know there's a potential. If you're going from Bishop to Mammoth and you know that there's potential for you to be stopped, or even, you know, the road may be open, but we got chain control, traffic's moving slower. If you need to go tinkle, yes, you might want to think about doing it before leaving town. You know,
Trooper Michener, it's always a pleasure. Thank you,
Jimmy. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
This is a special holiday edition of Trooper Michener's California Highway Patrol and how to keep safe and happy and Have a good New Year. This is Jimmy T. Be tremendous. Be careful out there. We'll see ya.